Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Adibi IP Group Live Innovators Q&A, your daily live cast, bringing you guys awesome intellectual property content every single day of the week, trying to illuminate various aspects of intellectual property and help you guys navigate the business world. We're trying to create as much useful content as we possibly can. So if you guys have specific questions or topics that you guys want covered on the show, please send them to Victoria at victoria@adibiip.com. Send her your questions, your ideas for show topics, anything that you think would be relevant or useful to you guys. Let us know, and we'll try to bring you guys useful content around that. We also have a community number. Feel free to text 415-943-5193, 415-943-5193. Would love to have you in our text community. Shoot a text to that number. You'll get direct access to me. You'll be able to text me directly, send me your questions, send me your topic ideas. I'd love to answer your questions, engage, and hopefully create more useful content that will actually help you guys. So this is a Q&A show. Before we get into today's episode, this is episode number, I believe, 133. Is that right, Victoria?
Yes.
Let's talk real quick about what we did yesterday on episode number 132.
So yesterday we talked about the challenges that Off-White faced when trying to trademark their zip tie mark.
Really interesting. We got to see the progression, numerous office actions, different examiners. And so it was really, really good to see how powerhouse like Off-White is able to navigate the trademark office and ultimately hopefully obtain a trademark for what they're trying to trademark. I think it's a really interesting case, and they were going to come back to it eventually at some point because they had functional refusals in that particular registration that I think would be really informative to all of you guys. It's also really good to see all the evidence that they presented, and so it might give you guys ideas. If you're trying to trademark something that's particularly challenging, you might get ideas for evidence that is ultimately was held to be persuasive. So today, this is episode number 133. Victoria, what are we doing today?
Today, we're going to be looking at Fedex's logo.
So Forced Invasion, this is the Forced Invasion's idea. He wanted us to take a look at some marks that have optical illusions in them. So the first one that we thought we'd do would be Fedex. So let's check it out. So the first thing that we're going to do is to go to tsdr.uspto.gov. I'm going to show you guys how to do this, and you guys can use these principles to research any company that you might be interested in. So I'm going to go ahead and do a basic word mark search. So again, all you do is go to tsdr.uspto.gov. I'm going to zoom in so you guys can see clearly what I'm doing. But once you're here, you click on search trademarks on the left, and then you can search by company name. So then we're going to do a basic word mark search, and then I'm just going to type in Fedex Corporation and then owner name and hit submit query. Now this is going to give me all the marks owned by Fedex. So I'm going to click image list because I want to check out the marks owned by Fedex, and then zoom out so you guys can see all their marks nice and clearly. You can see they actually have a lot of marks. So I think part of the reason why it's actually a lot more than 59. I believe I may have input their company name incorrectly. Yeah, it's Federal Express Corporation. So let me go back and enter that search correctly. So in this search bar, I'm going to type in Federal Express Corporation, and then search by owner. And we're going to see we have a lot more marks than just 59. So 652, and I'm going to search by images just to get a better idea of the type of marks that they have. So we're not going to look at all their word marks. But you can see that they have a lot of really interesting marks in the works, like FedEx same day bought, for example. This is intent to use, so this hasn't actually been used in commerce yet, at least as of the filing date. Maybe it has now, but pretty interesting to see. As I said in many episodes before, it's really interesting to do this research because you get an idea of possible future marks that a company might end up using in the future. So it's always good to research and investigate. So let's get to it. So I promised you guys an optical illusion. A lot of you guys may already be familiar with this one, but for those of you that are not, let's check it out. So as you can see, I'm going to open this in a new tab. And if you zoom in, what you're going to see is you're going to see, so this is the Fedex logo that everyone's familiar with. But if you look on the far right, there's an arrow pointing between the E and the X. The E and the X form an actual arrow. So pretty interesting, pretty cool. I thought it'd be cool to do an episode on Fedex, just given how interesting and cool this optical illusion is. And in all honesty, I didn't even realize it for the longest time until the Forced Invasion told me about it. So thank you. I'm going to go back. Let's do a little bit, just out of interest. Let's see what sorts of classes are covered by FedEx. So class 35, tracking documents, packages, and cargo. And then, so 35 is generally for business services. And then 39 is shipping and delivery services. So I think we're going to see a lot of that in these particular marks. We're going to see a lot of class 35, a lot of class 39. Probably also downloadable apps. I'm going to go ahead and zoom out. Now, this is another cool, popular, famous mark by FedEx. A bunch of compass arrows all pointing to the center, forming a triangle in the middle. Now, this, you can see a lot of different classes here. So 9, 16. So 16 covers paper, 9 covers hardware, 17 mounting tape. I mean, literally, a lot of different marks are covered by FedEx. It's a really strong, powerful brand. Really interesting history, too. For those of you guys who don't know the history of FedEx, you should go and read about it. It was started by one guy, Frederick Smith, a really fascinating history. I believe it was started in the 70s. Actually, we could actually probably figure that out just by looking at first use in commerce. So let's check out, let's see if we can find the really old marks by them. I'm going to zoom out here, just make this a little easier. As you can see, they have a whole lot of variations, too, on FedEx, like trade networks. In various situations, you'll see that color is going to be claimed as a feature of the mark. So the purple and the orange, very iconic, very distinctive. Here's Kinko's right here. And again, class 35, advertising and business services. But there's going to be a lot of other Kinko's marks. This isn't going to be the only one. Here's the gray and purple variety. You can see this mark wasn't started in use until 2006. The FedEx Cup, FedEx Racing, keychains, clothing. So let's go way back in time. Let's go to the very end. It's kind of fun to see. Oh, here's a 1-800 number. We haven't seen a lot of these. So 1-800.go FedEx. So if those of you guys are interested in possibly trademarking a toll number, here you go. Let's see how this was actually allowed. I think it's kind of interesting to check it out, see the specimen that was submitted. Let's get in here. So renewal was submitted in 2016. And as you can see, all they submitted was their contact page right here. Let me scroll down so you guys can see. There it is right here. Call 1-800-GO FedEx. So there you have it. Maybe that's a more useful tidbit for you guys. The fact that you can trademark 1-800 numbers. This is a prime example. And then again, as far as the services go, the actual services were for under 39, pickup, transport, and storage. So pretty neat. Again, it's nice to see what the big companies do because you might get some creative ideas for how you guys can go about also protecting your trademarks. So I really think that might be the takeaway of this episode, the fact that you can trademark 1-800 numbers and get creative in terms of how you brand them and market them. I'm on purpose, I'm going to scroll further towards the end. It's just, let's get historic here. Let's see how some of their really old marks. So this mark here, this is their white and orange version. Again, this is 2009. We can go even further back in time, though. There's an older Kinko's mark. Again, I'm intentionally going quickly past through these because, again, a lot of them get repetitive. I mean, as you guys can see, we see a lot of Kinko's, the 1-800 number. But it's cool. It's cool to, especially just because this sort of is a way of cataloging their history, right? Their brand progression, the way the colors have changed over time, over the decades. Let's check out this mark right here at FedEx Kinko's. So this one, 2004, first use in commerce. This is a barcode mark right here. Running logistics. This was actually registered. I mean, it's since been canceled, but let's dive in. Let's take a really quick look here at the specimen. So this specimen was submitted in 2007. So this is older. But as you can see right here, it's kind of hard to see, but if you scroll down, you can see it here in the lower left corner. Cool. So, okay, so now we're getting to the really, really old marks. So Federal Express right here. I mean, okay, here's the famous dog. This is used back in early 2000s. Right here, you can see first use in commerce, 2000. But this is, of course, this is very, very iconic, very famous. Probably a lot of you are familiar with this mark. It's kind of a trip to see the dog and then see the arrow. So if you hadn't noticed it before. Okay, let's get into the really, really old marks. I'm going to keep going here. Oh, here's a dog all by itself. Again, class 39. This was actually canceled, but that is the mark. And then this is, okay, here's another optical illusion. So this is for the forced invasion right here. So check it out. It's a bunch of houses, but if you look more carefully, what you'll see is that it's actually a bunch of arrows pointing downwards. So pretty interesting. Again, this is actually abandoned, but at one point there was some interest because they filed a trademark on it. Victoria, now I'm just looking for all the optical illusions. This is ridiculous. Is there an optical illusion here? So this looks like, this is also 1B. So this never was actually used in commerce, but still kind of cool to check it out. So it looks like an arrow pointing towards a house. See, I'm just looking for the face now, looking for the optical illusion that probably isn't there. All right. So before we wrap up the episode, just for purposes, historic purposes, let's try to see if we can find the oldest mark. So right now we are on 300 of 400 sorry, 300 to 400 of 652. So let's keep going. Oh, this looks like a boomerang. Let's see. Oh, it's not. Archery, arm guard, athletic supporters, pickup, transport, repair, delivery of merchandise. It looks like this was at one point used in commerce. Let's take a look at it, see if we can see it. But it might be a really old mark. So there actually may not be records of this one, unfortunately. So no records, sadly. But again, guys, so we're getting really, really old now. So like this, for example, Federal Express right here, 1994. So now we're getting into the 90s, class 25. So clothing, they're hustling clothing, merch. This mark right here, also pretty old, 1994. This is an interesting mark. It looks like a mailbox with a face on it. And again, these are probably so old, so 1996, that we're not going to be able to see the specimen. Actually, let's just take a quick look. No, unfortunately. Sorry, viewers. We're not going to be able to see the specimen on that one. Cool. So let's keep scrolling. Again, we're getting older and older. So now we're in the 90s. So we're almost to the end now. Let's see how old this one is. So this is Federal Express again. So now we're getting into 94. Oh, okay, here's the arrow. Famous arrow. Formed by the E and the X. Okay, so almost to the end now. So 500 to 600. Express Clear. Federal. Okay, so this right here, this is a really old mark. 1984. So this is one of their early logos. Now we're getting real historic here, real historic. Okay, here's another really old one, 1976. This is one of the early ones. Kind of cool to see. Whoops. Super old Federal Express mark. Okay, let's go to the very end now. Flying Tigers. Okay. We're now at the very, very end. So 652. So these are really old marks. Some of these are probably going to be from the 70s. Let's take a look. So I'm just going to keep scrolling down. Let's go to the very, very last one. Economy Air. This was it's so old that we don't actually have much records of it. Okay, so how about this one? Courier Pack, registered in 1976. Federal Express, here it is right here, guys. This is it. Filed in 1972, first use in commerce, May 1st, 1972. So this is the earliest word mark applied for Federal Express right here. Notice they disclaim the word express. And then let's take a look, see if we can see. So this right here, this is their earliest application for their logo. This was filed for in the 80s, 84. Again, first use in commerce, 1975. So this is the original logo. I'm not sure we'll be able to see much in terms of records, unfortunately. But again, that's Federal Express. Again, one thing that's kind of interesting, the FedEx progression, how it progressed. As you can see, that we showed you guys in this episode how that progression occurred. We went from FedEx. Okay, interestingly here, so here's an early FedEx one. But what you'll notice is that the optical illusion here wasn't, in fact, present back then in 89. So this looks like it was first used in 1989 right here. No arrow here. That didn't happen until later. So thanks again, The Forced Invasion. Appreciate your episode recommendation for topics. If you guys have more topics for shows that you think would be cool or questions that you guys want us to answer, send them to Victoria at victoria@adibiip.com, victoria@adibiip.com. And then also we have a community number. Feel free to text 415-943-5193. Send us your questions, your comments, your ideas for future episodes. We'd love to create as much useful and invaluable content as we possibly can for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. This is episode number 133, and looking forward to seeing you guys tomorrow for episode number 134.